Tim, welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today I'm going to walk you through every phase of the proper usage, care, and maintenance of your Bell & Ross instrument BR03-92 matte black. This is an automatic winding watch by means of an unseen case-back winding rotor. The rotor will wind the watch by means of your wrist's kinetic action, but if the watch is stopped, for example, and you wish to manually wind it, you can do so by turning the crown 25 to 35 turns clockwise in the first position flush to the case. This is the winding position. After those turns, you will note that the watch is ticking. You can put it on your wrist, set the time, set the date. It will continue to wind itself. But it's important to note that if you wish to fully wind the watch up to its maximum rated power reserve of approximately 38 hours, simply continue turning in a clockwise direction. Listen for the subtle click or tick from inside the case. That is the bridle style mainspring slipping in the barrel. This is a sign that the watch is, by design, slipping to relieve excess strain. You cannot accidentally overwind the watch. If you can't hear the slip of the mainspring, use the rule of thumb of 45 to 50 turns in the clockwise direction to fully energize the watch. Now, there are two subsidiary setting functions that you can use to accurately set the time as well as the date. The first is the quick set position for the date. Now look at 4:30, it is the 10th. By pulling the crown out 1 to 10 from winding, I can turn in a counterclockwise direction and cycle the date rapidly. This is great if the watch encounters an irregular length month or should run down and you need to rapidly correct a period of days. Now, you will note that the watch continues to tick during this period, and you should never attempt to use this feature between the hours of 9 p.m. and 3 a.m., as that is the danger zone in which the watch is automatically rolling its date over and engaging the mechanism. Trying to use the quick set during the 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. span can damage the movement, so always take note of the time of day prior to setting the date by the quick set. If you pull the crown out one more detent, you'll feel it pull to a stop. You activate the hacking or stop seconds function. This is the mode in which you set the time for the watch. So let's say, for example, it is 6:04 where I am. You want to look up an online atomic clock set to your current time and then set the watch to the correct hour. And if it's 6:04, you want to stop the seconds hand at the index at 12 precisely, and then set the minute hand to the next nearest minute. So we're going to set it to 6:05. Now imagine my imaginary atomic clock catching up. It's at 6:04 and it's counting down the seconds to 6:05. The second the two are perfectly synced, you press the crown back in, you resume the beat of the balance. Now the watch has been synchronized precisely to a reference time. There are a number of hazards that your timepiece will face, so we'll review them each in turn. Water, magnetism, and shock. First, about water. It is everywhere, and it poses the greatest threat to your watch because intrusion can cause cosmetic and mechanical damage that is extraordinarily expensive to repair. So always ensure that the watch is protected from intrusion. Don't use that crown. Don't turn it, don't withdraw it, don't use it for setting when the watch is submerged or when there's simply water on the case, as this can cause the accidental drowning by means of a bypass of the case seals. The timepiece is water resistant to 100 meters, which is sufficient for aquatic activity per Bell & Ross, just not professional diving. It's also important to note that the watch is on a rubber strap. Always use a water resistant band when exposing a timepiece to water, because though the timepiece may be water resistant, leather, for example, is not. It should also be noted that unlike mechanical specification, the movement under the caseback has fixed characteristics. The water resistance of the watch does not, and as seals age and lubricants degrade, the watch will be relatively less water resistant over time. So always have your watch water tested at a minimum every 24 months per Bell & Ross. A dry water test at a Bell & Ross authorized service center can make sure that the watch still meets the expectations of 100-meter water resistance. This is also a good time to have the holistic condition of the watch evaluated cosmetically, water resistance, and of course chronometric performance. It's also important to note that the timepiece should be kept remote from shock, as shock is able to damage the movement, alter the timing of the watch, and as this is a ceramic case, it has the same strengths and vulnerabilities as sapphire, so a hard, blunt blow or trauma against a solid object such as a doorknob or a rock or brick can fracture the case just as it can fracture the sapphire crystal. Treat the case as you would the sapphire, and you'll find that it is almost entirely immune to conventional scratches and scuffs. Disuse the watch during concussive activities such as batting, tennis, golf, firearms marksmanship, the riding of ATVs or mountain bikes. The timepiece can become magnetized. The watch features a ferrous hairspring, which is at the center of its balance, its beating heart. Keep in mind that a magnetized watch may run fast or slow. The hallmark of a magnetized watch is erratic running. And if you suspect that your watch has become magnetized, take it to an authorized Bell & Ross service center where specialized demag equipment can quickly and easily demagnetize your watch. Just to be sure, keep the watch remote from speakers, subwoofers, the closures of refrigerators, wallets, purses, as well as powerful electromagnets such as personal devices and wiring looms. It's important to note that when swapping straps on this timepiece, you take care to use only the included 1.3mm hex tool that is the proper size, shape, and composed of a high-grade tool steel to allow easy and non-marring retrofitting of straps by means of the hex bolts in the lugs. Finally, Bell & Ross advises that every 3 to 5 years, a fine mechanical timepiece will need a comprehensive overhaul. We discussed having your watch comprehensively inspected during its water check, and should a full overhaul be necessary, the timepiece will receive cosmetic reconditioning, a new strap, restoration of water resistance, and chronometric performance. Service exclusively with the Bell & Ross factory or an authorized service center of Bell & Ross, as these agencies solely have the trained personnel, specialized tools, and original Bell & Ross replacement parts to protect the value of your watch as both instrument and as investment. Moreover, only these agencies are able to back all labor and parts invested with a Bell & Ross factory service warranty. Ultimately, visit our website at goffbergwatches.com to see the full Bell & Ross catalog online, and call, text, or email our experts who will be happy to walk you through every phase of the ownership and usage of a Bell & Ross fine timepiece.